Greetings, beautiful viewers, this is Smitten. I was prepared for this video to be the next installment in How to Fail at Smite, my original Smite series where I normally showcase the blunders I make while playing a new god for the first time, but as fate would have it, Odin turns out not to be the all-failer. As you will see, the credit to ruining this installment of How to Fail at Smite goes primarily to my teammates, whose communication and awareness allow me to have a smooth first attempt at Odin. Blessed by their presence, I now have the confidence needed to go over Odin's abilities. Starting off with his passive ability, Birds of Wisdom. Flavor text aside, what this does is grant Odin 50% extra vision range on the minimap, great for those of you that are the awareness type. Next is his number 1 ability, Lunge, your standard leap with badass sound effects, dealing 140 to 300 physical damage plus 48% of your physical power in a 20-foot radius around where Odin lands. I plan to level this second and get a point or two in before maxing out other abilities. His number 2 ability is Odin Shout. This buffs attack speed by 15 to 55% for you and all allies within 35 feet, lasting 7 seconds. I plan to put a point into this last and max it second. The number 3 ability is Odin's Bread and Butter, Gungnir's Might. Sorry to my Scandinavian friends if I'm pronouncing this wrong. This passively gives 10 to 50 physical protection and 4 to 20 HP 5. On use, it unleashes an AoE, dealing 90 to 310 physical damage plus 100% of your physical power, while slowing enemies by 25% for 2 seconds. I plan on putting a point into this and maxing it first. Last, we have Odin's ultimate, the Ring of Spears. In short, this traps anyone within 30 feet of Odin in a wall of spears and granting Odin immunity to crowd control. Chapter 1. The heat of the moment. Now with that over, we can get into the action. Shivalanki and I were wasting time at the gold camp, happily ignoring the first call for a gank on mid before I sound off letting them know I'm ready to comply. We enter the lane to meet Hades and Anhur. However, this time I'm able to employ judgment and situational awareness and notice that there is no gank to be had, and so I make my way back to the gold camp. Maybe the Birds of Wisdom do make you more aware. Interesting note, Shivalanki played as Hercules in our last video, and just like before with his Earthbreakers, he confuses me with his kiting of the gold creeps. As we polish off the gold camp with Shivalanki's poison darts, Thor and Poseidon clean up the opposite gold camp and we all head off towards mid just as Thor and Guan Yu lose the contents of their bows and frantically call for a gank on middle lane. Through the walls you can see the red silhouettes of what looks to be the whole enemy team, and we emerge to find ourselves facing a team fight at 32 seconds in. We begin the awkward posturing as I slowly back into the tower, repeating to myself, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank. I see that Poseidon is off in the left jungle moving towards the lane. He drops his whirlpool, slowing Anhur, who notices him and hits him with his MPI. I see my opportunity and charge, and Gungnir's Might ready, and Guan Yu follows suit. Thor comes in and finishes Anhur off with his Berserker Barrage, while Shivalanki misses with his poison darts in what I'm sure was an attempt to instill fear in the enemy team. We get a first blood at 52 seconds, and Shivalanki seems to feel rather embarrassed that his darts didn't land, so he flees with his tail between his legs to right lane. I, being the loyal friend and laning partner, rush off to join him, leaving the rest of our team in a 3v4 fight in mid. However, we do have the better group composition there, as Thor, Guan Yu, and Poseidon are now up against Sun Wukong, Hades, Freya, and Bacchus. Thor's passive gives him a total of 45 physical power when around 3 enemy gods. That in combination with Berserker's Barrage and his stun make him a deadly opponent in the tight confines of mid lane. Add to that equation that at level 1, the only thing Bacchus can do is drink, and you've got a pretty one-sided fight as you can see. Thor and Guan Yu picked up kills on Freya and Sun Wukong respectively, and now we're sitting at a nice level advantage as Shivalanki and I push up right lane while the trio in mid pursues Bacchus into the jungle towards us. Freya moves towards the right tower to halt our push as we dip into the jungle. Shivalanki leads with his poison darts as I leap over the wall with Freya out of position. Shivalanki picks up an easy kill as we proceed back into right lane. With 4 kills and 12 assists, we take a moment to throw out a round of good games and dart past Wukong and Freya while I take this opportunity to waste mana on creeps. Well done, I think to myself. I gain my level and place a point into Gungnir's Might, and for once after a round of action, I'm only at half mana and missing about a fifth of my health. At this point, I'm both ecstatic and feeling morose, thinking I might not actually get to upload a fail video after all. Then I remember my successful use of an ability on creep and continue contently. As our creep wave goes down in the tower, Sun Wukong takes the opportunity to get some free damage on us with an excellent use of his Furious Monkey, while we fall back to our creep wave. To contrast his efforts, Bacchus and Freya appear to be 2 of my viewers and gleefully trade some of their mana reserves for creep damage. Seeing this, I no longer feel alone in the world. As Thor announces his intention to gank right lane, look to the minimap and you can see him and Guan Yu making their way through the jungle. They finish off our creep wave and once again Sun Wukong greets us with the Furious Monkey as we back off preparing the trap for the upcoming kill. Thor closes on the middle of the lane. Our opponents seem to realize that something is off and he hits his tectonic rift followed by his hammer. Guan Yu enters the lane from the exit closest to their tower as I lunge into action, taking the focus of my opponents. As Xbalanque lands the devastating Poison Dart Rising Jaguar combo, securing a kill on Freya. As I rush back up the lane, Xbalanque is able to take down Bacchus as well. At this point I realize that we are only 3 minutes in and recognize how bad I would have to mess up in order for this to actually be a fail video. Guan Yu backs to the call to defend left lane, and Xbalanque returns the favor to Sun Wukong, hammering him with the same combo that got Freya. Still feel like using a Furious Monkey? It doesn't seem like he wants what we have to offer and backs up to his tower. All the while, Thor had moved down lane and entered the jungle to make Sun Wukong thinks he's backed. Sun Wukong is joined by Freya and Bacchus, who rush in to drive our creep back from the tower, using plenty of mana in the process. Xbalanque and I slowly back off, trying to lure the trio away from the tower. Thor waits in the wings as this pursuit begins. Our opponents seem hesitant to move without their creep and follow it towards us in formation, never noticing that Thor is still in the jungle, stalking them down the lane. Bacchus initiates, belly flopping onto me before realizing he isn't even tipsy, so he takes a drink in the midst of combat. I hit him with my 3 as Xbalanque goes into his combo while Thor lands his stun. I lunge onto Bacchus as Thor hits Berserker's Barrage. With Freya and Bacchus down, Thor and I are rewarded with our ults, just in time to notice that Sun Wukong has slipped off in the heat of the action. Chapter 2. Man Mode. At this point, Sun Wukong had returned to the lane as Thor went off for greener pastures. Bacchus joins him and Xbalanque and I are looking for a good time to back. Xbalanque calls it first and leaves me at my traditional quarter health and drain mana pool with orders to defend against the assault. I post up at the tower to delay them until Xbalanque can return. I figure a tower dive is imminent, so I level Gungnir's Might for the boost of physical protection and HP 5 and try to bait their aggression. As the pair clears my creep wave, I feel oh so alone, completely forgetting my mantra that reminded me that I'm a tank. Seeing the dive, I prepare my ult and enter man mode. As the creep wave enters my tower, Bacchus dives and I pop my ult, gaining immunity from the intoxicating effects of Bacchus' ult. Sun Wukong leaps from the tower before returning with his ult in an attempt to pick me up. As death looms, out of the shadows comes Xbalanque with the trusty Poison Dart Rising Jaguar combo, forcing Wukong off the pursuit. My tower kills Bacchus, crediting me, while Xbalanque punishes Wukong for his daring overextension. Finally, I get to back in peace. Chapter 3. When Carries Attack. Having successfully backed, I finish off my warrior's tabbing, grab a health and mana pot, and returned right. Sun Wukong and Bacchus are defending their tower as Sun Wukong gets ballsy and initiates onto Xbalanque, followed by an overhand smash. Bacchus follows suit and tag them both with Gungnir's Might for the slow, while Xbalanque hits his combo again. After a brief disengagement, we return up the lane where my inability to press 1 and 4 in succession shines. I march up and wall off only Bacchus. Take a moment and notice the ranges. Bacchus does in fact take damage from my lunge. With his jump on cooldown, Bacchus gets picked up by Xbala. As the spear wall drops, Xbalanque hits the Sun Wukong with poison darts for a double kill, all because Sun Wukong overstayed his welcome. Xbalanque now takes the opportunity to back while I stay to farm creep. Chapter 4. I am the Knight. I was pulled away from my leisurely farming when my teammates announced that enemies are incoming, and here they are. However, I'm well aware of Xbalanque moving up the right jungle and have been slowly drawing them back down the lane. And here he is, delivering massive damage to the pair, surprising all parties before I fulfill my role in the last video by lunging onto Sun Wukong and stealing the kill. Hey, back off! Odin can be a bruiser. I have warriors tabby, don't I? Pursuing Bacchus up the lane, he stays just beyond our reach, with a cut along the wall letting him maintain his distance just long enough to get his leap back up, and he jumps to safety. As Bacchus disappears into the distance, suffering from yet another bruise to his confidence, Xbalanque and I release our frustrations on creep. So, Alakite, are you glad I took the high road and avoided another boner joke? Seeing as I take suggestions seriously, I think about moving against the tower before Xbalanque's ping draws both me and my attention into the jungle, where we encounter my arch-nemesis Freya. Upon seeing us, she either panics or gets overeager and burns Valkyrie's discretion. With her only means of escape alone, I demonstrate my newly found ability to successfully hit 1 and 4 and trap Freya in my ult, and inadvertently locking Xbalanque out and unable to contribute. Nonetheless, when the wall drops, he lands a basic attack to pick up the kill, saving me from yet another embarrassing kill steal. I announce I'm out of mana and briefly consider going for blue buff before realizing that Xbalanque is getting double teamed out in the lane alone by Sun Wukong and Bacchus. Leaping to the late rescue, I arrive in time to see Sun Wukong miss his ultimate, preventing him from being able to take the kill. Notice, however, that their health is about even as Bacchus and I trail behind them. Sun Wukong goes in for an overhand smash but gets interrupted by those notorious poison darts. In a stunning reversal, Xbalanque takes the kill and fares away behind a tower to safety as Bacchus backs off. Chapter 5. Promach. While that amazing play was going down, Thor was going for our opponent's blue buff after a fight in mid lane when Freya gets the jump on him. Seeing this transpire, I jump into the jungle with no mana of my own and attempt to assist. Hades comes sprinting in from the right, unaware of my presence, and gives chase, just as Shivalanke comes in from the left, adding to the tension when Freya pops her ult and picks off Thor. In one of my more impressive moments, I body blocked Freya as Shivalanke shows he's quickly snowballing his opponents as Hades hits Devour Souls before he pops his ult, of which only our Guan Yu is concerned. This play, however, only allows him time to realize what a mistake this was and begin his terrified flight as the ultimate ends. Our Guan Yu follows up with another impressive display of decision making, completely missing his ult as Hades ducks away into the jungle to safety out of the grasp of his eager pursuers. That is until Shivalanke shows how to be a carry, appearing yet again from the shadows in front of Hades. Unfortunately, we don't have the damage, and Hades escapes into his tower just as Sun Wukong arrives to ward off any thoughts of tower diving, and together with Bacchus begins to push us back. My premature leap leaves my buddies completely exposed. The enemy team focuses him and he pops Aegis. Surely this will give us enough time to take down Sun Wukong. We don't, and he dies! Just as Hades dives in to ensure I flee in panic and as I resort to a playstyle of squishier days. Wait, I'm a tank, I say to myself, turning around to notice that Hades was a hit away from death and Guan Yu is boldly engaging in a fight that I shouldn't have left. However, this realization comes too late as Freya joins the fight along with the creep wave. Guan Yu and I are forced to fall back once again, finding myself without the mana to engage. At this point, Thor is making his way over to assist while Guan Yu and I posture under our tower in a come at me bro moment. Shivalanke tries his hardest to contribute by pleading with the living to defend while Thor calls for the attack. I, however, realize I have 1700 gold. Thor dives into our opponents as Guan Yu rushes up to assist while I pussy out to pick up tier 2 of the Stone of Gaia to provide magical protection and boost my health and mana regen before heading back into action. This will hopefully help me to avoid any further embarrassing run-ins with my impotence in the mana department. Chapter 6. Higher Education. Feeling re-energized, I rejoined my team in my favorite lane, where Thor and Guan Yu battled it out with our opponents without either side losing a player. However, we did force them back, and now we move to take down our first tower. The enemy team is completely out of position to defend this push, and Shivalanke clears up the creep as Thor and I actually handle the important matters. After he's done feeling important, he joins us in rocking the tower, and I take the last few tower hits before it goes down. Here is where I struggle with the voice commands, trying to express my enthusiasm, succeeding on getting out my woohoo on the second attempt. I must let my allies know how excited I am that we have accomplished the momentous achievement of downing an undefended tower. With big ambitions, Bacchus steps forward to defend the inner towers with Freya close at hand. He seems to feel confident as he belches into the lane before belly flopping onto us and drops his ultimate, only to find himself isolated, slowed, and engaged in a wall of spears, with Freya trapped outside to enjoy the spectacle. However, Shivalanke is too drunk to capitalize on this event, and the walls drop, releasing him into the wilds. Run free, little Bacchus! Be with your own kind! Instead of running free, he turns to face his former captors, getting off another belch before Shivalanke reminds him of how much poison darts can hurt. He leaps away, leaving Freya isolated and ready to receive the follow-up quiz to today's lecture. She seems to think she studied hard enough, and with number 2 pencil and Scantron in hand, stares down the challenge before her. Little did she know that Professor Lanke would hand her an essay quiz, so her Scantron would be useless. She's more prepared than he thought as she ults into the air, avoiding the rising Jaguar, but tragically being placed at the bottom of the bell curve by the poison darts. Luckily, the A student in the class, Sun Wukong, completes the essay and hands in extra credit, and Odin is left to mop up the remains of the professor, effectively ending the longest running chain of puns yet to be used on this channel. Bacchus returns only to have my reinforcements round the corner and push him back into the lane. In the half-hearted pursuit of Sun Wukong is on, he uses Fury's Monkey to score some negligible hits before leaping away to safety. Thor and Guan Yu see that it's over, but I proceed undaunted, leaping forward to ensure that I waste just enough mana to prove ineffective in future engagements. Still ever eager for action, look how long I keep my ult selected before finally cancelling it. Bacchus charges up the lane, but I have bigger fish to fry in finishing off my Stone of Gaia, and in the stunning display of my ability to completely miss with Gungnir's Might, it seems enough to give Bacchus pause as he rushes back to his partner Freya in fear of what I might miss next. With that situation handled, I decide to back in the face of danger without dying, and the fight breaks off without further incident. Well played, Smitten. Well played.
Okay.
As Odin reacts to my commentary, I finish off Stone of Gaia and pick up another health and mana pot and head back out towards the gold camp. I'd like to explain my thought process on my item build. Mark of the Vanguard helps me handle the early game while I level up Gungnir's Might, while Warrior Tabby allows me to edge out some extra damage due to my aforementioned passive, providing 50 physical protection. Now the Stone of Gaia lets me pick up magical protection to deal with Freya, Bacchus, and Hades, while also giving me sustainability by increasing my MP5. My next item of choice is likely going to be Void Blade to buff Thor and Shivalanke and preparing me to handle on her next we meet. As I finish off the gold camp, it's off to middle lane where the action seems to be. Poseidon picked up a kill on Hades, and Xbalanque nicks Sun Wukong as I arrive at the teamfight and show off my prowess at pressing 1 and 4 with an indecisive delay, finally trapping the helpless Freya, who Thor hits with his tectonic rift before I proceed to chase her around the ring before being banished. Being banished gives me the perspective I needed to realize that I actually have another ability, and out comes Odin's shout, forcing the enemy team to surrender. Good game to my opponents and an especially good game and well played to my allies this match, who showed that with a little awareness and proper use of voice commands you can coordinate decisive engagements. I'd also like to say that Xbalanque managed to get himself killed enough to where I have a better ratio than he does. Who's your carry? And so concludes my failure to make a proper How to Fail at Smite video. My allies today just weren't having it, and Odin proved too forgiving to allow my opponents to face roll me. If you like the video, don't forget to rate and subscribe, and don't forget to leave suggestions or feedback in the comment section. You can look forward to a new fail video coming soon. I'm Smitten, and thanks for watching.
Good game. Bye.